What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of LTG, aka Let's Talk Games Podcast. I have my right-hand man here, eRock8150. Please shout yourself out.
This is your boy, eRock8150, the Don King of Xbox, on this epic occasion as we finally bring our friends Steve and Jay from the UK straight to your ears in the US of A.
And I have Bella Rise here. Please introduce yourself.
Hey gamers, you all know me.
And then, of course, the reason why we're all here today, I got my good friend Jay and Citizen Steve, and they represent Drop That Interactive, and they're talking about their new game, Gear Gauntlet. Please, guys, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone.
So, man, I'm happy to have you guys here, man. How you guys feeling?
Not too bad at all. Chill kind of Saturday night here. It's about 9:30. All good.
Nice. Okay.
I'm very exhausted. I've been driving all day. Done a few other shows as well. You know, just trying to spread the word of Gear Gauntlet, show some love to everyone, show them what's coming to the Xbox One, and yeah, it's just very tiring time right now.
Yeah, but it's prime time. But it's prime time, and we're gonna make sure we talk a whole lot about this game Gear Gauntlet. Which, on a side note, I'm still raging. But
Good.
yeah, because that was the goal. Now, you guys, man, with this game, I just want to say, like, I've been enjoying my time, even though this is just the a pre-build. We're still waiting to get like something close to the final, and I know you guys are working hard with that. But the question I want to ask to you is Gear Gauntlet. What is it, and why should we all be excited for it?
I'll let Steve take this one.
Yeah, I thought you might. Okay, so Jay got the idea a long time before I met him, like 6-7 years ago. Mainly from Guitar Hero. The idea was he'd been playing Guitar Hero a lot and noticed the kind of progression of getting to the really difficult, hard song types. And so the core mechanic in the game, breaking through barriers with the chord buttons, is very much Guitar Hero kind of focused. When I first saw it, maybe 2 years ago, something like that, I kind of thought it was a bit like Sonic's bonus stages, like the original Sonic, but kind of with the difficulty of Super Meat Boy, something like that. So it's kind of a smash-up of those three kind of games, but it's not a platformer. It's more of a, a very pacey, fast kind of 2D scrolling, brutal, slap-you-in-the-face kind of game. But fair, we hope.
So we got, you said, a mix between Sonic, Super Meat Boy. It's more of more like a beat the screen. I know I didn't move as fast as I should be, so I'm working on my reflexes. But that's a good mashup. And the thing is, you said it's not a platformer. So the thing is, what I see about this game is that it could be its own like genre. Between like the two of the games that you're comparing it to.
Well, it's kind of why I wanted to join Jay. It was like a year and a half ago now, or maybe a bit more. And I've been making games with my brother, and he was going to do something which is kind of procedurally generated. And I was a level designer, and I didn't really have that many skills at the time. I have a lot more now. But when he showed me the game, it was just sort of Sonic's original bonus stage has gone absolutely mad because the principle is the same. Collect the special things, collect the gem, collect the rings, don't die. But it's just expanded and more pacey, and we've got things like hidden paths and multiple paths to kind of represent difficulty, because we didn't want to end up kind of having a easy, medium, hard, very hard, brutal nightmare. We wanted players to kind of, when they're playing it, as they're flowing through levels, if they can't do a certain part of the game because they think, well, that's just really brutal, I can't do that yet, do the easier bit, get through a level, get to the next one, and then maybe have the confidence to come back and kind of try again to get that kind of rare collectible that's in every level.
Okay. Now this question right here is for Jay. Now you got a couple of games in the vault. Some of us never played, some of us never seen, but I did some dirt digging. Now my question to you was Dot Dash the start to Gear Gauntlet?
To be honest, Gear Gauntlet was originally the original name was Dot Dash, and basically I met a guy called Dean Wilkinson once upon a time, and we felt that we didn't really want to sort of just release the game just because people liked it, but nobody knew who I was, and that is a big problem that a lot of the indies always have. You know, no one knows who they are, and we don't want to sort of release a game that just gets overlooked, sort of thing. So what I did was, with the power of XNA back in the days, I released another game, and then I called that Dot Dash Episode 1, and that basically, as you can see, it's quite similar in terms of it's got the block and then the cog and stuff like that, and that was supposed to be a game that released prior to what is now Gear Gauntlet, just to sort of have some published titles under my belt, sort of thing. I can admit that then I had a lot less skills than what I've got now, and you know, you get better with the tools and stuff like that. You pick up better designs, you learn from your mistakes and stuff like that. But yeah, to answer your question, Dot Dash came from the inception of what is now Gear Gauntlet.
Okay, that's good to hear. Now, speaking of like I was telling you about the games some of the games you got in the vault, and my question is, compared to the previous games you put out on the Xbox 360, how satisfied are you with Gear Gauntlet so far?
Gear Gauntlet blows all of them out of the water. I basically grew up with C++, and learning XNA was sort of my entry into C#. A lot of jobs that I went for after that, not game related, all use C#, and that was a way for me to learn it and sort of do the stuff that I liked doing. So creating those games, a lot of it was learning how to use the tools and, you know, get familiar with XNA and game development in general, and it gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of people in the community, such people as Charles Humphrey, who was an XNA MVP, and just meeting people like that, you get to sort of learn a lot of the techniques and stuff like that, and just, you know, like I said, you get to learn from your mistakes. So basically all those games that I made, Dot Dash, Gladiator's Escapade, and Zombie Concentration, that was sort of, you know, working on the mechanics and stuff like that. And at the time then, as I said, I was learning and I didn't really have the resource to make anything fancy looking. So it literally was a case of putting what I had and getting that sort of to the XSplit community. But as I sort of progressed and I saw what people like Team Meat was doing, Jonathan Blow, Bill Fish, people like those, you know, they were introducing nice little indie games, but they were making sure that they had quality to them, and people were really sort of warming to that. So it was a case of, okay, I've got this game, loads of people like it, well, loads of people that was around me liked it, and I could just bring this out, and it could just be another one of those games that I made, or I could try and actually put that sort of polish onto it, try and generate the resource, and that's sort of comes back to why the game hasn't been released and why I've started many times and sort of put it off and stuff like that. Because when you got a family, you know, my twins were born, so I had to make sure I could take care of that. Got married, got to take care of that. Now I feel like I'm in a position where I can use bits of my savings and stuff like that to put towards the game, along with Steve's help, and we're basically in a much stable position to actually put the quality that you would expect from an Xbox One, either Xbox game. So compared to the other games, this game blows that out of the water. But for me, I just feel like this is the right time for me to, you know, get some ground and make a splash with what is now Gear Gauntlet.
We both met through XNA as well, which was really cool, because like XSplit was for loads of people it was just a way in, and Jay brought out Dot Dash quite a while before, like a year before maybe, I think. my brother brought out Obsessive Collecting Disorder, which is just like another platform that we released, which is I did level design for. But that whole community is kind of now, or part of it is kind of progressed to where Idea Xbox is. So a lot of the old devs are still there and making cool stuff. Good community, very good community.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Jay and Steve, how are you, my friends?
I'm fine.
Excellent,
All good.
excellent, excellent. Guys, when I look at Gear Gauntlet, it almost immediately reminds me and takes me back to when I was a kid. Visions of Atari classics like Breakout come to mind with its simple, fun, and addictive gameplay. What inspired you guys to go that route with Gear Gauntlet?
I mean, as you say, you know, you mentioned sort of the old games, and as also as Steve mentioned with the Guitar Hero, at the time, for me, it was, I just felt like a lot of games were just too easy, and I wanted to sort of make a game that reflected sort of my time that I spent playing games back in the days. I won't sort of try to sound cliche and start naming all things from Commodore and stuff like that.
Wow.
Wow. A lot of them I can't even remember because I was quite young when I got them. But
You and me both.
but my parents did spoil me because I was quite ill as a child with asthma and stuff like that. So for them, it was, you know, whenever I went to hospital, I would come home to a new game and stuff like that. And, you know, I managed to play, you know, games like Golden Axe, Altered Beast,
Yes.
Sonic. You know, I loved Sonic, and back then, you know, you didn't have the memory card, so you had to really put in that work to complete it and stuff like that. So for me, a lot of it just came from sort of those memories of playing games and actually having to, you know, have skills and stuff like that. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Awesome. So look, firstly, I'm really impressed that you can hear anything through that hat. It's an awesome hat, by the way.
My dead hat.
It's reversed, I'm telling you.
So look, obviously earlier this week we had at the Windows 10 presentation the announcement that we're going to be able to stream games from our Xbox One to our PC and our mobile devices. Is Gear Gauntlet going to be one of those games?
We had a conversation that lasted about 2 minutes so far, but that's about it. We've seen it. We know we could maybe possibly look at it, but we're nowhere near. We've got, like, the game's about, what, 70% done, Jay, overall?
Yeah,
it's mainly about content and polish more than anything else. And, you know, getting feedback and reiterating our levels and getting the kind of progressive difficulty right throughout the gauntlet. So, not yet, but maybe. More Jay's answer than my answer, really, I think. He's the code designy type person.
I think that Gear Gauntlet would be awesome on a tablet. Like, it's going to be awesome on the Xbox One, but I think, yeah, a tablet version of it would be pretty awesome.
With the Windows 10 announcement, that was really cool because, I mean, streaming the game to a tablet and having that ability to use your controller, that's going to be awesome. So I could definitely see, you know, if the sort of the love and attention is there for us, because at the end of the day, if 10 people buy the game, you know, it's not really worth the time trying to sort of support it for the next couple of months. You know, just being honest here, because as I say, a lot of our own personal money's gone into it. So
yeah,
kind of like if it dies, then, you know, it's gonna hit us hard in the chest. But you know, the Gear Gauntlet is a quite Twitch-based game, and I've actually made a version of it on the Windows Phone, but because it's touch and your fingers have to sort of be on the phone, it sort of takes up the area of the play screen. So streaming to a tablet and using a controller, that's good. Having a tablet as the main input, that'll be quite tricky. And I mean, I've had someone actually shout out to me and say, I would like to take this challenge to bring this game to a tablet. So there's possibilities, but at the moment, our main focus is on the Xbox One, and, you know, Gear Gauntlet for us that's made for the Xbox controller. So
yeah,
it's those coloured face buttons, man. Like, you know, we talked about it, but the coloured face buttons on a tablet, we'd have to be completely rework it. It wouldn't work the way it is now. So, yeah, all about Xbox One right now.
Fair enough. So the short answer is that potentially in the future we may see that.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, in a nutshell? Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on. So I understand that you had the opportunity to meet Greenie, Mr. Aaron Greenberg, and Phil Spencer about a year or so ago, and they had the opportunity to play your game. Now, I know the interview is meant to be about Gear Gauntlet, but you have to tell me, what was it like meeting two of the most influential personalities in the gaming industry?
That's a Jay question. Go, Jay.
I mean, I think for a lot of people, the sort of main focus was on Chris Charlotte, to be honest, and everyone was sort of pitching so many ideas to him.
Yeah.
Because this was a point where I don't think Phil was in charge then. Yeah, I don't believe he was.
No.
But
he's always been in charge. He just only realised it lately.
But yeah, so everyone was sort of rushing to Chris Charlotte, and I'm the kind of person that says, you know, if everyone's flocking there, I've got to do my own thing. You know, I don't really like to be a sheep. So I saw Phil Spencer, and then it was a bit of a double take, really. I looked at him and I was like, hey, that's that guy. Quickly Googled him and I was like, yes, that's that guy. You know, and I remember I went up to him and I was like, wow, Phil Spencer, you're always smiling in your
Always.
your photos and stuff like that. And then I was like, I can't believe you're actually smiling right now. And he was just like to me, you know, when you work for the greatest company, it's always a good day. And you know, I just remember that conversation. And basically, he says to me, oh, so what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm working on the game. Back then, it was called Soul Machine. So it's changed from Dot Dash to Soul Machine to Gear Gauntlet.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so
Soul Machine. It's kind of got a ring to it.
So I said I'm working on a game called Soul Machine, and he says, well, do you have it on you? And I was like, do you know what? I've got it on a laptop in my bag. So he goes, do you know what? Bring that out. He hooks it up to the TV. He puts it on top of the Xbox One, and I was like, wow.
Nice.
The Xbox One was like the focus, so he puts it on top of there, and basically hooks it up, and then starts playing it, and then he's like, oh, wow, okay. I start explaining to him what it's about. Then he calls over Aaron Greenberg. There was another lady that he was with. I can't remember her name. And another guy that he called over, and it was like, oh look, I just beat this game. Play it. It's quite fun. You know, can you beat my score, kind of thing. And then you know they had their own little banter. They were having a few beers and stuff. And you know, Aaron Greenberg was just saying, I was talking to him, and he was just kind of like, oh, this is the kind of game that we want to see on the Idea Xbox program. And at the time, you know, you don't know whether, you know, it's just one of those things that people are just saying or not. But you know, months later, Gear Gauntlet's now coming to the Idea Xbox. So at some point, it must have, you know, trickled back up to someone, and they must have said, oh, we've seen this game, or maybe, you know, it just through the process, it just happened to sort of get picked again to, you know, get through to the other stage of Idea Xbox, and here we are bringing it to Xbox One in summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that must have been a completely surreal situation to be in, to have like Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg like fighting over who can get the best score out of your game. Like, wow.
I actually wanted to take a picture with Phil Spencer, but I said to myself, you know, I don't want to be that guy that sort of.
Don't intrude too much.
Can I have the picture with you? I thought it looked too geeky.
Okay, so look, let me clear this up for you in case you're ever in that situation again. If you were ever in a situation where you can take a selfie with Phil Spencer, you are never going to be that guy. Right? You're always going to be the guy that got a photo with Phil Spencer. So don't ever pass that up again.
I have nightmares about that situation now. You know, I messed up.
Yeah. Now, Jay, man, you speak about this game and how it brings you back to the games of your time, and you wanted to make a game closer to that. And you know, I now looking back at it from today's date, I feel so robbed that when I completed games that was so hard back then that there was never an achievement for it. I mean, you get an unlock, but all you had was bragging rights, you know.
Yeah.
And that depends on who believes you, you know. Nowadays we got proof, and this is what I call the achievement era. And my question to you is, and this is a two-part question. What was the hardest achievement that you ever achieved in a game during the achievement era now? And in your opinion, what would be the hardest achievement to get in Gear Gauntlet?
Oh, man. Man, oh man, the hardest achievement. Ooh,
He likes to hit you with the hard ones.
He making a hard game, so yeah, I want to see what his hardest achievement was.
I can tell
I
you,
know, right?
I can tell you one achievement that I haven't got yet, but once I've done Gear Gauntlet, I'm definitely going for, and that is Volgar the Viking. That game is damn brutal, and you know that game. If I get the achievement for completing that game, I'm gonna send a very long letter to the Team Viking, Crazy Viking developers, because that game is just so brutal. And when it came out and I played it, I was like, wow, they've given Gear Gauntlet a run for its money. But we're gonna have to amp it up here, and we need to be known as the game that was brutal on the Xbox. So yeah. So for me, I would say that game I haven't got the achievement yet, but that game will be the one that when I do, it'll be very memorable because it's just so brutal. And
Nice.
part 2 of your question, the hardest achievement in Gear Gauntlet. At the moment, we have got an achievement that you need to. It's called, I believe, 99 Problems, something like that. I can't remember, but it's like 99 Problems.
Awesome.
And basically, you have to defeat all of the gauntlets, so basically every single level, and you've only got 99 lives to do it. And that may sound like a lot.
Oh, it does, but it's not.
I mean, kids move. How many times did you die on your first try of Gear Gauntlet?
That picture, it said 174 times.
Damn it, past the 99 problems.
So there you go. So that's going to be, I think, one of the hardest achievements to get.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's some hidden ones as well.
Mm.
So they could prove to be quite hard or quite easy. It depends on how you look at it. But yeah, 99 Problems, I think that one will be quite hard to get.
Well, I can't wait to do that challenge. I mean, even though I think I might like turn the game off before my 99th life and then start over
like
again.
Saying throw your pad at the screen or something.
Okay, Jerry, you do that one first. You let me know when you get it done, and then I'll try it.
But speaking of, achievements, and one of the things I've always been, interested is like, oh my God, how do they like determine what they're going to do for achievements? So my other question to you is, how did you go about unlocking achievements in Gear Gauntlet? How did you decide what was going to be an achievement and why?
I mean, it was sort of me and Steve decided we'll look at the game, and we sort of decide what will sort of be fun as an achievement and encourage a gamer to want to play for that achievement. And we have to also think, we didn't want to think of stuff that was a bit obvious. So things like move forwards gets you an achievement because you have to move forward anyway. So it makes no sense. You sort of feel, no self-worth with achievements like that. So we didn't want to just give achievements for achievement's sake. Although, because we know the game is brutal, there is a cheeky little achievement in there that we just throw it in just to,
that's about it.
seem a bit cheesy. But the rest of them,
Yeah.
I mean, some of them you got the obvious ones like complete a gauntlet, but completing a single gauntlet is quite a task. So that deserves an achievement. I mean, Steve sort of thought up for some as well, so I'll let him sort of
Well, it's
answer.
like, you've got 1,000 points, so you tend to break it down into the most obvious stuff first. So you've got progressive ones, so you've got collect this many rares, collect all the rares, clear the gauntlets, clear all the gauntlets. But then you've got things like only collect silver cogs in a level, which sounds easy, but when you're going at that speed with that many traps and stuff around you, you have to try and make sure you only collect that kind of colour of cog. So it's not that easy. We've got a few other hidden ones in there as well. Hopefully with enough comedic names to keep players reasonably entertained as they achieve the achievement.
I got an idea.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, so many people can tell you from my Twitch streams, and if you're playing with me in a party, I'm known for raging badly if I'm sucking. So
You
you guys
rage?
should,
You want to show you achievement, don't you?
you guys should add an achievement called the Kid Smooth achievement. So this the achievement where that has to have somebody, like, if they quit, that means they rage, and they unlock an achievement called the Kid Smooth achievement, the Rage Quit achievement, inspired by Kid Smooth.
We could have Hulk Smash in brackets, Kid Smooth.
Yeah, we've got a similar kind of achievement, and we was gonna call it the David Banner, and then but because we're quite new to all of this, so we weren't too sure if that would sort of be flagged up as copyright or anything like that. So we changed the name of that one, but that was something funny that we was gonna put in there.
Yeah, man, you guys, man, just looking at, like, one of the achievements that Steve talked about, get all the silver ones. Why would you do that to people? That's criminal.
That's why they're sadistic.
Longevity, sir. Brevity.
There you go.
This game will be the hardest game to get achievements in if you have achievements like that. No, honestly, I'm looking forward to that, man. And just to give you, the thing I love about I can't even say independent. Wow, independent developers is that you guys have the freedom and you guys have no fear in what to do with your game, and I think that's what the big budget guys are lacking. They're afraid to go left. They're always going right, and then it gets repetitive and we get the same boring crap. But when the indie guys come in and they like, you know what, this is my game, this is what I want to do, this is what I want people to experience, and they do just that. And so big ups to you for that, and I can't wait to get the full experience on Gear Gauntlet.
Thanks.
Awesome. Steve, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Will Gear Gauntlet feature a story campaign? And second question, is there any game you'd compare Gear Gauntlet to?
So it's not going to have a campaign with a story or narrative. I mean, my background's actually in film, so it's something Jay and I have talked about. But this is a concept which is we've even thought about it. Like, there was a narrative in place at one time. But the gameplay is so kind of focused on the mechanics and the barriers and the speed of play and the leaderboards and all these things. We even had a joke blurb at one point which was like, save the world, save the ridiculous stereotypical princess from the castle you've never seen before. As a geek, what the hell are you reading this for? Game about gear, go play it. Because it's not really a game that needs a narrative. So no, we won't be doing it with this one. We're just going to try and focus on the mechanics, the way the game plays, the leaderboards in particular, and a little bit more depth with the rare specials people need to collect and the routes that they can go through in the game. That's what we're really going to focus on. And the art style as well. We've got a guy called Joe Pigu, who has produced this really kind of lush kind of watercolor backdrops to each level, and also
beautiful.
And the foreground art is really, really coming along as well. The first Gauntlet's pretty much there now. The art-wise is all good, and most of the levels are in. So we're getting there. We're about 70% in, but Joel's done some beautiful work, and the level panels as well are coming along. So we're hoping, like, maybe in a month's time-ish, we're going to have level 2 in there, kind of background, along with the foreground art and stuff as well, and we'll just start kind of building everything up bit by bit.
Beautiful.
So, just moving on a little bit from what Jerry was talking about earlier about, the achievements and stuff. I don't know about you guys, but I love me a good Easter egg. Should we be on the lookout for any hidden Easter eggs in Gear Gauntlet?
I've been talking to Kiss Smooth about some Easter eggs, so you might find one of these ones in there. But yeah, I mean, we've got a little editor in there that I mean, some of the little things we've been doing is stuff like writing people's names or the aliases in sort of as part of the level. So when you're sort of flying past, if you can take your eye off the action for a second, you will see like a little message. So little things like that. But we're also thinking of adding a few little secret things in there. It's just we don't want to sort of copy anyone else's Easter eggs, and we don't want to sort of break the game as well. Just trying to sort of get Easter eggs in there. So we're gonna try and do it within the limitations of of what we can with the game. But we definitely want to do something because I think we do want that sort of moment where everyone says, "Oh, did you get X, Y, Z?" You know, and that will help sort of keep the life of Gear Gauntlet in sort of the talks on the websites and stuff like that. So yeah, keep an eye out.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I first started playing this game, I was like, yeah, I can see that there's going to be, like I'm just it's spitballing, but I can see like maybe there's going to be certain tiles that might be a different shade, and like if you get every one of them through a different level or something, you get an Easter egg. Like I'm like, I can see Easter eggs here. I can see this happening.
Yeah, and as you're saying, because we've got these chrono tiles, which they've got a set time. Some of them's 10 seconds, some of them's 20. They're all different, so it's not just one particular time. So I was thinking of doing one where if you can get into a certain area, basically you've got to trigger something that, and when you trigger enough of them, it opens up something. So there's a lot of somethings in there. Cause I don't know what it's like now.
something. A portal
Spoiler
opens
alert.
into Mario.
Spoiler alert.
But,
How did I get into Mario?
we might do a little Easter egg like that. It just all depends because main priority is sort of making sure the game is fun and stuff like that. And then and to be honest, this is a game, as I mentioned before, that kind of welcomes DLC, not in terms of give us more money kind of thing, but in terms of the level editor can be sort of used again to say maybe add an extra gauntlet to try out new things that we might not have had we didn't have the time to do. So I mean, at least one gauntlet we want to get him after sort of release. So and that's just going to be a sort of thank you to the people that bought the game kind of thing. So at least one gauntlet's going to be in there afterwards, and that one's going to be a quite a special one. I think it's going to feature some levels created by some of our friends in the community. So Mark McCann, who's recently released Hyphen, again Charles Humphreys,
Love it.
and people like that. So yeah, look out.
And
for
I
that.
know that Kid Smooth's sitting there waiting to ask his next question, but I have something I want to ask before we move on. So sorry, Kid, you're gonna have to wait a moment.
All right.
On that, you just like sparked something in my brain when you were talking about adding, an edited version that the community has come up with, like, in discussion about DLC and stuff like that.
Yep.
That would be like something really awesome. Like I know I would pay for DLC that would allow me to have an editor within the game where I could create my own gauntlet. You know what I mean? I could create my own gauntlet, and then I could put it out there, and I could share that with my friends, or they could download it onto their PC or their Xbox or whatever. Like I would pay to do that because I'd be like, hey, you think you're good? You think you're good? Try and get through my gauntlet.
I mean, that is something that we have talked about, and the editor started off. I mean, some people would just maybe create some little text file that they can generate levels and stuff like that. But I tried to create an editor that not only can it sort of press play and then you go straight into the game, so you can test it as you're building it. But we wanted something that could possibly be worked in as a feature for extended sort of gameplay, as you say. Make your friends play it and stuff like that. But to be honest, for us, it's a lot of resource. A lot of the stuff that possibly is like would be nice to have. It all comes down to the resource because it is just myself and Steve, and it's just myself working on the code. And it's a case of, do we want the game to come out and be up against AAA titles like Halo 5 and all big games like that, Quantum Break. So for us, it's a case of what can we realistically do that will not feel broken, because it's all good and well promising stuff, but when you've got faces that disappear, it's not really pretty,
No, I appreciate what you're saying. I'm sort of thinking like the game's released, it's got some traction, you've got, however many X hundreds of thousands of downloads. You know, fingers crossed for you guys.
That's the thing.
And you're like, right, so let's put our focus towards some DLC. Damn it, let's bring out a community editor.
You know, we're gonna make that one gauntlet for post release. As a definite, like I said, as a thank you for the opportunity from Idea Xbox, from the guys at Xbox, because it is a great opportunity that we've got, and just people tuning in, watching us, giving us this time, and yourselves, we at least want to do this special gauntlet that I've mentioned, and as you're saying, Bella, if we do get that love, I don't see why not, because as I say, this is a game that it's so easy to bolt on extra levels and stuff like that, and they would fit in nicely, and it would just extend the life of the game. So that is definitely a possibility. And again, if the love is there, the support, then yes, it could definitely potentially happen.
Yeah. Look, I think that's something that would be extraordinarily popular. And just while we're on the subject of things that I think you could consider for the future, so you're doing a level, right? You know how? So have you played Trials Fusion? You know how when you're going through that, you get the ghost of the person that's got the fastest time in your friends list next to you. Jerry keeps telling me how he's the bomb online. But Gear Gauntlet isn't a game where we can really test that out side by side. So that would be a pretty cool feature. Again,
the original Gear Gauntlet, as I said, started in back there actually was a split screen 2-player mode, and you could see sort of the ghost of the other character and stuff like that. And so
awesome.
That kind of feature was already there.
Yeah.
But these are some of the sort of features that had to get dropped again because of resource. Because at the time it was quite shoddy. Say again, Steve.
It's just time, isn't it, more than anything else? Yeah, exactly. We both have full-time jobs, and we've got we need to get it out this summer. It's getting there. It's almost there. I mean, after release, if we get the love and people like the game and it's getting downloaded loads, then with Jay and I've got 2 or 3 things we could implement. I mean, they'll take a lot of effort, but certainly, the Gauntlet straight after, just for Microsoft letting us release on their platform and stuff, and the gamers who are originally going to play it, and then after that, I suppose we'll just see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who's actually had a play of the game, I know how addictive it can get, and oh god, I made this mistake here. I got to go back. I got to do that again. I can do this better. I know that this game's gonna take off. So yeah, you know what? I'll have my people talk to your people in the future. We'll chat about these ideas. And now we're gonna let Jerry ask his question.
I'll tell you one thing, Bella. What you can do, you can just say Xbox record that, and you've got the proof right there.
Yeah, this is true. Xbox record that. The only problem is that is Jerry's gonna be like, was that really you playing? Because I've got no proof that was you playing.
Oh man, Jay, I know we talked about this a little bit, and about this game being brutal for some, and then some people who might not be phased. My question, we talked about this. There's actually no difficulty setting in this game, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So now, but you did tell me a way that how you kind of made it kind of the player's choice. Can you explain that to our viewers?
So basically, as you mentioned, there's no easy, medium, hard, black and white setting. Because as you know, in some games, I start easy, I have to play the whole game easy, and halfway through I'm like, do you know what, this is too easy, I could probably have done this on medium, but now you have to start the whole game again to get it to be on easy, on medium, or whatever. So didn't really want to do that, and I don't even like the concept of having to choose a difficulty, because I always, for example, on, say, Gears of War, when you want to go hard, it's got the skull. And it's wow, okay, skull. Okay, I'll probably go to novice or something, because I don't want to deal with anything that's got a picture of a crushed skull on it or something like that. So I feel that can kind of be quite off-putting, even though that game is an amazing game, and me and my friends had loads of fun moments playing that game. But for me, I wanted to avoid doing easy, medium, or hard in that normal sense. So what we've done is our gauntlet levels have basically got multiple routes. It doesn't. So the routes could be anything from 2 to 5 to whatever. There is no like fixed number of how many different routes it's got. But what it does have is each route, which they can also intertwine as well. So you can go one way, then it come out another way. So it's not like you go one route, you have to commit to that being the easy route or whatever. But as I was saying, they have different. It's like the difficulties built into the route itself. So if you go, for example, on one, you might go down. You'll notice that it's only got bronze cogs, and that's basically because the route will be it might not have as much danger on that route. So your reward is reflected in the choice that you've made to go that route. But as I say, you might come to another junction, you might decide, you know what, that was actually quite easy. I actually want to go for that harder. I want to get more points because I can see Tom is beating me right now. So I want to at least try and get one gold cog just to push me up there, or at least get the rare so I can go for the achievement that gets the rares or whatever. So basically, we woven the difficulty into the level design in terms of having these multiple routes that you can sort of go through. And as I say, you're rewarded by the routes that are chosen. And again, we've got these chronotiles which lock out some routes. So there's one particular level that, because we've got score leaderboards and we've got time leaderboards. And if you wanted to try and get the fastest time on this particular route or on this particular level, it doesn't give you the most amount of points, but what it does give you is the fastest time. But it's so hard to get through that. You have to get to that chronotile without dying, otherwise it will lock out. So that would be a way to basically get the fastest time for that level, but then you won't get the highest score. So you would have to go another route to get the highest score. And what we're doing here subconsciously is giving you replayability. So you don't just sort of play one and say, okay, I've done that. Yeah. I've done all I can do.
That's what it is, replayability. It's not sending us insane.
Yeah. It's like a damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's like I got the highest score, but my time sucked. Oh damn, I got the quickest time, but my score sucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But it's all tracked. There's a beautiful system on the Xbox, so everything's tracked. So get the highest score, get the highest time. It all gets logged. So we've got about, I think it's at the moment 80 individual leaderboards. Because it's I know currently it's 40 levels, 10 per gauntlet, and then you've got times and scores. So there's 80 leaderboards to get onto. So you must have to get on at least one of them in the top 10. And like I said, there's so much replayability in this game. Although some of the levels are like a minute long or 30 seconds long when you time it, but you'll be on them for a very long time, because like I said, yeah.
I learned that the hard way. Now, just to clear something, I know I got some questions in the comment section, so I just want to verify, because you're releasing in the summer, but we don't have a date or a month yet in the summer just yet, correct?
That's correct. As I said, our main thing is to give you guys a game that will reflect Gauntlet Interactive, as in the new Gauntlet Interactive, which is myself and Steve, and not necessarily the titles that have been pushed out before, because someone could go and look at those titles and think, oh, this game is just going to be another one of those type of things. Yep. So we're working hard to reflect the quality of this game in what we're going to release. So
sometime in the summer, damn you, that's as specific as we're going to get.
So yeah, at the moment we're looking at summer release, and if we don't feel the game is to your standards, then we'll see what happens. But summer release for now.
Excellent.
Awesome. So I did hear the other day, yesterday to be specific, that you said in your interview with the Inner Circle that you're a massive Titanfall fan.
Yes.
Great choice, by the way. Love that game. Now, what other games, and I know this is about to be about Gear Gauntlet, but, you know, we want to know about you guys. We want to understand where your passions in games lie and what your inspiration comes from. So, apart from Gear Gauntlet, obviously, what can we expect to find you playing, and are they all on the Xbox?
I also play. I play Call of Duty. I mean, it's gonna sound again very cliche, but for me, the best.
No. I think you just became my new best friend.
Like, you know, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. That was probably for me the best one.
It's
so
epic.
I play a hell of a load of shooters. I play PlayStation 4. The only console that I don't really play is the Wii U, and that is because for me, I just thought the Wii and Nintendo just kind of stayed stagnant for myself. I loved Mario, but the fact
you don't dig you some Donkey Kong?
Yeah, the Donkey Kong brings back some memories.
Yes.
You know, when I'm actually coding, I actually bring up the theme tune on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love listening to that. And there's actually a guy called Smooth Grooves McCall or something like that on YouTube. I always listen to his tracks as well because he does a cappella and he plays things like the Street Fighter theme tunes and stuff like that. But getting back to your question, the kind of games I play a hell of a lot of shooters. So definitely waiting for Halo 5. I played the beta and that game was just like amazing.
Mind blowing.
It was something else. So shout out to people for that one.
I know, right? Bonnie Ross, you rocked that shit. That was awesome.
I play Volga, of course.
Yeah.
I whooped Kid Smooth's ass on iDub.
Awesome.
Oh!
It was a cut. It was a cut from behind win. Wait, let me clear the air. That was one game.
Yeah, okay.
No, that was 2 games.
There was 2 games. I just created my Angry Birds characters, and I wanted to test them out, and he caught me on the upset on the first game, and then the second one was some bull beep. He caught me he got a.
Oh, come on, kid! Don't damage control.
It was a.
Game dev kicked your ass.
It wasn't because he had to come from behind.
We make games. We hope to be good at them. It's no problem. Don't worry. You'll get better. You're right.
Myself and Steve, we play a lot of games as well together. We play Call of Duty. We were playing Grand Theft Auto yesterday.
And stuff, yeah.
Well, I know that I've got you on my list, Jay, but I'll have to add Steve, and I'm going to get you guys into a lobby with me. We're going to go into a private match. I want to see your quick scoping skills.
I hate quick scopers.
I want to see your skills.
Sorry, just give me a submachine gun and let me run around a bit. That's fine.
Submachine gun? No,
I'm right with you.
Skill in that? You like spray and pray left to right. What's the skill in that?
I'll tell you one game that's not out that I'm really looking forward to. Like I'm really looking forward to this game, and that's Salt and Sanctuary by SKA's Scar Studios. I watch a lot of James Zilla's Twitch streams, and from what I've seen of that game, it is just so amazing. It's basically 2D Dark Soul roguelike type game. And it just looks so good. If I'm honest, I wasn't really into Dark Souls, but I did like Lords of the Fallen. People think I'm mad because they're saying how do you like Lords of the Fallen but not Dark Souls? I don't know, but I preferred Lords of the Fallen to Dark Souls. And
oh my God, you know how many people want to stone you for saying that right now?
I know.
I played it with my brother. I couldn't not play. Like my brother and I just. Every time you thought you were okay, the game would make you like you went to church in the first like past the swamp in the first game when you climb up like 100 steps and if you fell off that one beam, you were right back down there and you had to climb all the way back. Screw that, but it's genius. Back in the face. Like, deal with it, get up and be a human being, you piece of crap. Fine then, let's go.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Steve, I got a question for you. Jay mentioned earlier how great it is working with the team at ID at Xbox. For our listeners who want to be video game developers, once they finish school, what exactly is the process they need to go through in order to break into the industry?
Well, I mean, first of all, you're going to need a team of people. It's very difficult to make a game on your own. Even sole game makers have people who do music for them, do art for them if they're not, artists. So you need to be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, I'm actually a teacher. I teach animation and game design, 2D game design, at college kind of level, like 16-year-olds plus. And what we often tell them to do is try and make sure you focus on the particular thing that you're good at. But being an indie dev, you also need to be able to do this whole load of other stuff, like, Jay codes and he designs levels and he paints levels and he contacts media, and I cut trailers and I level design and I do concept art. We make decisions about the game and how it's going to go. And it's also the engine as well. I mean, like, we're using Unity, and that's something that Jay ported the game to from Monogame and XNA originally. So if you're first going to get in there, depending on what your background is, if you're a coder, you're going to have to find some kind of art guys and musicians, etc. And if you're an artist, if you're an artist, you need to find somebody who can code for you, or use something like Game Maker or Construct 2 to kind of start developing those skills. As for ID at Xbox, it's as simple as going to their website and filling in the application form, and they contact you as quickly as they can. Bear in mind the amount of submissions that they get; it must be crazy. And then after that, they contacted us, and they were really interested in the game. And they've been brilliant since. The communication has been excellent. They're always answering our questions within a really short time frame when we need them to, and we've got lots of retweets from them, and they've just been there and supported us really, really well. And we wanted to bring this specifically to Xbox because we're both Xbox gamers. I actually have a Wii U, and I do like Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. I adore that stuff. So screw you. But we're both at our core Xbox gamers. Like, my whole friend circle is on Xbox, and Jay's friend circle's on Xbox, and we play games all the time together with our our group of friends, and we just really, I think possibly because maybe we've been since the original Xbox, and we both released expert games, and it's kind of like a natural, we just want it on there first, So yeah, Xbox is our main priority.
Wow.
Yeah, excellent. I can completely understand that. Do you still have your original Xbox?
I don't. I kind of wish I did. Sorry. I'll buy one.
I'm not sure that I have any respect for you anymore.
Just buy the masters, honestly, they're everywhere.
How could you ever get rid of it's like selling your first child? Let's not even have this conversation on air. We'll do this later.
ZX Spectrum in 1985, man. That's way long ago. My first child's, like 45 by now.
All right, so man, Jay, like I said, it's been great. Now, I know we're talking about a Gear Gauntlet. I know you guys say you're about 70% done with the game. After this game wraps up, I know there might be plans to do another game, but do you ever consider revisiting your older titles, such as you got Gladiator's Escapade and Zombie Concentration? Any chance you end up remastering them and putting them out for the Xbox One?
Gladiator's Escapade, sorry, not Gladiator, Zombie Concentration, I actually started working on part 2 of that, and that was going to be a sort of bigger budget game with paid for artists and get that properly done. So there is always that possibility, and the fact that Steve's now on board, so there's that opportunity for him to actually write a proper story from it, rather than me just having a dream, waking up and then throwing what I last dreamt about into the game as the storyline. So there's always that opportunity that we could do something with that. Gladiator's Escapade, actually, the idea that I had with that game, I may not have executed exactly what I wanted to with that, so that could be quite an interesting one to actually revisit. I mean, some of the people that played it, they were like, wow, this was definitely something different from what they had played around that time. But again, that was the original idea of that, I was meant to sort of see it through with someone else, and that particular person just they ended up going about their own business. So again, it was a sort of the limitations to because that was the first game I did on for the Xbox 360 via XBlig. So that was me definitely learning a lot of what it can do and what needed to be done in terms of because there's like a checklist of things that the game must have to do because you wouldn't want to give it to someone and it just crash their computer kind of thing. So the possibility is there, but with the way games have moved on and how sort of the mechanics are nowadays, and I mean, if you take IDub for example, the integration with Twitch and what's the other one called Twitter, it's just crazy. That has already given me so many ideas of things that I can do with that.
Ah, it's ingenious.
Things like Titanfall,
Yes.
Halo, stuff like that. Although, at the moment, I haven't got the resource to make the next Titanfall. But
At the moment,
What?
it take
Oh,
1,000 years to get to the moment to make Titanfall.
what it is
But the concept, yeah.
yeah, the curse that a lot of game developers have is that you start to play games and instead of just playing them for what they are, you start picking at the mechanics. What are they doing there? How did they do that? Can I replicate that? Can I make a game where I utilize what these people have done, which is quite. I mean, Titanfall just went bananas and made shooting just so fast and verticality and all these buzzwords that they all use.
Yes, it did.
So for me, it's like, okay, could I possibly do something with that? Okay, is there an element that was there but wasn't necessarily picked up on by a lot of people, but for myself made it a good game? So can I take that and then mix that with some of these other things? I mean, as you see, Gear Gauntlet is a mashup of quite a few genres to sort of create a genre in its own. Can I do that again with a bunch of other games? Maybe. Don't know. But so the other games, it might be a possibility to revisit them. But at the same time, working with Steve, we've got to sort of both kind of agree on something because it would be a bit unfair if I just kept making the things that I wanted to make, if you know what I mean. So
we've got some big ideas, haven't we? I mean, we've got things we've talked about, nothing concrete, but just like loose ideas. But until this is out the door and we see if it's popular and we need to do DLC or we need to do even more stuff because it's more popular, we just don't know yet. So, but yeah, they're there, kind of hovering around, saying, "Hey, make me a new game."
Wow.
While I have you as a captive audience, I just need to tell you both you're evil. You're absolutely evil. You have had me cussing at my PC so much. Like, God damn you guys! Why would you even put that there? Why
Like
would
a South
you do
Park
that
episode,
to
wait,
me?
could be.
It's really well done. Like I've gone through it a few times. I'm like, I see what you did there, and that just makes me hate you.
For those who are just tuning in, yes, we are speaking with Jay and Citizen Steve from Drop Dead Interactive. We're talking about their game Gear Gauntlet, but we are about to wrap it up. So if you've missed it, you can watch this interview again on the channel, or you can go to the official WeGameHere.com/KidSmooth and hit play, and there you'll have it. Jay, you got some surprises for us. What is it there?
Yes. So we've got these posters here. Gear Gauntlet posters.
I haven't seen these.
Dirty.
This
Nice.
Is live.
Even Steve hasn't seen it. So if anyone wants to throw out some questions or anything like that, or you can figure out a way of them winning one of a couple of these, we'll probably give away 3 of them. Exclusive Gear Gauntlet posters.
Yeah, that's a lovely slapshot on a poster.
Awesome.
Got 3 of them
Awesome.
to give away.
You know what we should do? We should ask like the viewers, give them a couple days to let the comments fill up. What was like the hardest game they played, and whoever comes with like the best answer, could get a chance to get that one of the 3 posters.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's a great idea.
Oh, no. Let's milk this. Let's milk this. Like, what do you reckon the best DLC that Gear Gauntlet could possibly produce would be? Best options. Like, yeah,
Awesome.
that's how you're gonna grow this game. Let's milk it.
Awesome. Hey, Steve. Before we go, do you think one day? I think this time next year, you and Jay will be millionaires. So, do you think next year, Bella, Kid Smooth, and myself could visit you guys over there in Nottingham? I mean, we can have a few.
Like, people always talk about the money, okay? Like my brother is a really talented mobile developer, and I started making games with him a while ago. And the mobile space is really weird by comparison to the console and PC space. And his 2 games have now been downloaded almost 2 million times. He's not rolling around in it. We're under no delusions. But this is a different playing field console, and it's never really been about the money. It's not about that. It's about putting yourself out there and putting part of yourself out there in a design sense and in a kind of a logic sense and a play sense and how you want people to play games, experience them. But it's also about not having any alarms go off in the damn morning. That's it.
Nice.
Good answer.
Allow me to not have alarms go off in the morning and make games every day. That's my life sorted. Yeah, money would be great, but no alarms? Oh man, I dream of no alarms. I even convince Jay to make a game that's called No Alarms.
Good answer.
If anyone wants to spook Steve, send him an alarm clock.
Yeah.
I should send you an alarm clock for what you put me through in Gear Gauntlet.
That'd be genius.
Man, like what I want to say is also I do want to give a shout out to the guys at uncannysounds.com. For those, if there's any developers watching, indie developers watching this podcast, visit them if you're looking for some music. If you need some music, go to uncannysounds.com. They do some good work and they work with games and whatnot, so feel free to visit them. I do want to give a shout out, a special thanks to you guys, Jay and Citizen Steve from Drop Dead Interactive, for joining this podcast. It's been a wonderful day speaking with you guys. I appreciate you guys spending this hour with us. It's good times, man, and I am looking forward towards Gear Gauntlet this summer.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, dude. It's been a pleasure to speak to you guys and talk about the game and who the hell we are and stuff.
Awesome.
So we got plans to get you guys to the show in March, GDC. Yeah, that's what we are. We going to see you guys at GDC?
If you want to see us at GDC, tweet Chris Sharla, tweet Agostino Simonetta, tell him we're the guys who want to see.
All right.
So, and if you like what you've heard from these guys today, we're going to put the description in the description. Sorry, not the description. In the description, we're going to put the link to the Facebook page for Gear Gauntlet. So if you want to help support these guys, you want to see what they're doing, you want to see how they're progressing along, go to that link, like their page, go to their Twitter, follow them on Twitter. Get involved, give them your ideas, and they regularly update, so it's important that you want them to continue to be able to give you a great deliverable. You've got to support them and give them your feedback, so make sure you go and do that.
Yeah, or if you just want to play me on Titanfall.
Now, like, for you guys in the future, I will be, thanks to Jay, streaming some Gear Gauntlet. Not now, but once we get closer to a final build, I will be streaming Gear Gauntlet and giving you guys some previews and whatnot. Make sure you fill up that comment section if you want that Gear Gauntlet poster. Is a pretty poster. I'm actually going to steal 2 of them, and then I'll leave one up for grabs.
But, you may have a fight on your hand there then. Yeah, I was going to do the same.
But to you guys watching, for more just great content and great interviews like this, you know where to go. Watch the LTG podcast. We are Let's Talk Games, and what we do is we bring those that bring the games to you. And as I always say before I close this out, Xbox is the best box, and I am the best bot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. We're out.